Hello everyone. In the kitchen, green onions are a familiar spice and are needed in almost every dish. However, onions quickly wilt when kept in the refrigerator. Sometimes after just a few days, they turn yellow and lose their freshness. So, how can we keep onions green and fresh for longer? Today, I will share with you some extremely useful tips for preserving onions. Tip number 1. Keep onions fresh with sugar water in a plastic bottle. First, I take a bunch of fresh onions, pick out the wilted or discolored leaves, and keep only the young, healthy green parts. This is an important step because only when the damaged leaves are removed can the remaining parts stay fresh longer. Next, I prepare a small basin of water, add a spoonful of baking soda. Then, add water and stir well to dissolve the powder. This baking soda solution has the effect of cleaning, removing dirt and bacteria on the onions, helping the onions stay fresher. Once the water is ready, I put the onion bunch in, gently stir it back and forth with my hands so that all the roots and leaves are evenly exposed to the solution. Then, soak for about 7 to 10 minutes. This is enough time for the onions to be cleaned without being waterlogged. When finished soaking, I take the onions out and put them in a basket to drain. Meanwhile, I use scissors to cut off the onion roots, keeping only the stem and leaves. Now, it's time to prepare the mini pot for the onion. I took a plastic bottle, cut off the top, and kept the stem. Pour in some clean water. Then add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Stir until dissolved. This sugar water will act as a nutrient solution, providing more energy for the onion to stay fresh and even grow new sprouts. Finally, I put the onion in the bottle so that the roots are submerged in water and the leaves are facing up. When preserving this way, the onion is like being nourished in a new environment, with water and nutrients, so it will stay green much longer than the usual way of preserving. This method is extremely suitable for families who cook every day, always need onions for seasoning. You can place the onion bottle right in the corner of the kitchen or on the balcony. The onion will not only stay fresh for a long time, but will also continue to grow new leaves. Tip number 2. Store the white part of the onion in a glass container. In addition to the green leaves that are often used immediately, the white part of the onion can also be stored for a long time if you know how. First, I take a handful of onions that have been pre-processed and cleaned. I cut off the white part. Then I slice them lengthwise into many small strips. Each downward stroke of the knife creates even, beautiful slices of white onion. Once I have the small strips, I cut them in half to make it more convenient to use, and at the same time, save space when storing. Next, I prepare a clean glass container. This is an ideal tool for storage because glass does not absorb odors and does not affect the flavor of the onion. At the bottom of the container, I spread a thin layer of paper towels. The paper towels have a slight moisture-absorbing effect, keeping the onions from getting waterlogged and soggy. Then, I arrange a layer of onions evenly on top. When finished, I cover it with another layer of paper towel, then continue to layer another layer of onions. Repeat this until the box is full, then close the lid. Finally, I put the box in the freezer. After a while, the onions will freeze. When needed, I just take a little out. The onions are still white and crispy, not blackened, and the flavor is almost intact. This is an extremely useful method for those who often use onion heads in stir-fries, soups, or broths. Thanks to being stored in the freezer, onions can be used gradually for many days while still ensuring freshness. This method also saves time. You only need to prepare it once. Then you can take it out and use it immediately without having to wash or cut it again. Tip number 3. Store chopped green onions in a zip bag. First, I put the washed green onion bunch on the cutting board. To prevent the green onions from sticking to the knife, I cover them with a thin paper towel before chopping. When slicing, the knife goes down gently. The onions are cut neatly and do not stick together. After slicing, I prepare a small zip bag. Put all the chopped green onions in the bag. The next important step is to remove all the air in the bag. This method helps the onions not oxidize and keep their green color longer. I close the bag loosely, leaving a small gap. Then, put the bag in a basin of clean water, slowly pressing the bag down. The water will push all the air out through the gap. When the bag has collapsed, I seal the bag tightly. The result is a neat, compact bag of onions with no air left inside. Finally, I put this zip bag in the freezer to preserve it. When needed, just take out a few green onion leaves from the freezer bag and put them directly into the dish being cooked. Under hot temperatures, the onion will melt very quickly, preserving its characteristic aroma. This method is extremely convenient for busy people who do not have time to go to the market every day. In addition, the zip bag is compact and easy to stack, making the refrigerator much more tidy. With just a few simple steps, you will have a reserve of green onion leaves in the refrigerator, ready for any dish. Tip number 4. Store onions in multi-layer plastic boxes. In addition to using plastic bottles, zip bags, or glass containers, another very effective and easy way is to store onions in a plastic box lined with multi-layer paper towels. This method helps onions stay fresh for a long time while still maintaining their natural green color. First, I take a bunch of onions that have been cleaned, remove the roots and yellow leaves. Then, I cut the onions in half so that the stems are shorter, making it easier to arrange them in the box. Next, I prepare a plastic box with a tight lid. At the bottom of the box, I spread a thin layer of paper towels. This paper towel will help absorb moisture, keeping the onions from stagnating and causing them to become soggy. Then, I arrange a layer of onions neatly on top of the paper towels. Next, I spread another layer of paper towels to separate them, then arrange another layer of onions. Repeat in order: paper towel, onion, paper towel, onion, until the box is full, then close the lid. Finally, I put this box of onions in the refrigerator. Thanks to the alternating layers of paper towels absorbing excess moisture, the onions will not get soggy, but will always stay dry and green. This method is very suitable if you buy a lot of onions at once and want to use them gradually throughout the week. The plastic box is easy to fold and convenient to carry if needed. When opened, the onions almost retain their aroma and crispness, can be used immediately for stir-fries, soups, or sprinkled on food without having to prepare them again. With this method, you can rest assured that your onions will always be green and will not spoil as quickly as when kept in a plastic bag. So I have shared with you 4 ways to preserve fresh onions for a long time, both simple and effective. From now on, you can rest assured to keep onions always green, ready for any dish. If you find it useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support me. See you in the next videos.